everybody, this is Angela from Texas, and you're listening to 5 Picks and a Chick featuring El Gato. This is the show that gives you 5 NFL picks for people who love football and friendly wagering. However, we are in the NFL offseason, so we're going to give you 5 sports picks. We decided to do this podcast last minute, so we don't have a guest picker with us. It'll be just you and me. El Gato, you good with that?
Yeah, I'm good with it. I thought we could get some picks in and some content in before the conference finals started. They start tomorrow, so we couldn't wait, so we had to get it in.
That's right. And like you said, I hope we are able to give some good content in this podcast. I am going to go back and give our records real quick. From our second podcast for the NBA playoffs, I went 3-1, and you went 2-1 because you did not go with a hockey game. We do still have the Laker bet outstanding, and that's the Lakers to win the championship.
Okay.
For the third podcast, I went 3-2, and you went 2-2. You didn't go with the hockey pick. And so that gives our record. My record is 22-11, and yours is 18-14. Not too bad considering those 2 losses. We lost by 1 point on each game. So
I know. We couldn't. You look throughout the whole game on those 2 that we picked last, and you figure, a free throw, a foul shot, converting on a layup. Just. Of all the points that were scored during the game, you figure we could at least have covered 1 extra point, but that's sports betting, right? That's going against the spread or the over-under, and that's what happens sometimes. But they were competitive games. But, hey, we're on the winning side of the ledger, and when you're on the winning side of the ledger, that means, that only means one thing to me. It means winning.
That's right, winning. Hey, everyone loves winning.
That's it.
All right, my first pick is going to be Lakers in the series against the Nuggets. It's plus 125. This is a rematch of the conference finals when they were in the bubble. The Lakers are playing the best defense of any team and have won every home game so far. The Lakers have 2 star players in LeBron and AD. The Nuggets have only 1 in Jokic, and that's no disrespect to Murray, but they only have Jokic. It should be a close, contested series, but if AD can neutralize Jokic, Lakers have a good chance to move on. What are your thoughts on this pick?
Well, it's going to be a good matchup. I've been really intrigued about this one ever since, both teams closed out their series with the Lakers with the Warriors and the Nuggets closing out their series. And I'm going to take the opposite side of this just for kicks. I do like the Lakers. I do like what they've been doing this postseason. I don't know if they're the surprise team because they do have, some very good players. Of course, LeBron being, one of the best players in the league, if not the best player. But I'm really intrigued with this matchup. Now, you mentioned AD neutralizing the Joker. I'm going to take the other side on that as well. I think if the Joker can neutralize AD, keep him off the boards, keep him less active offensively, I think the Nuggets can pull this one off. I think they still have enough players that can score the ball. They've got Murray, the point guard, one of the best point guards. He can create his own shot. He can get to the bucket. He can get and 1 foul shots. You've got Gordon as a power forward. I think he may be matched up against LeBron. They may have to put a couple of guys on LeBron. But on the other side of that, you've got the Lakers with that 1 or 2 year player. Reeves doesn't have too much experience, but he's really come on the last part of the season and certainly in the playoffs. And we've got a good point guard in Russell. I'm really intrigued with this matchup. I'm going to go in the in the playoff series. I'm going to go take the other side. I want to take the Nuggets with that home field. Both teams split the season series. Denver winning in Denver, Lakers winning in LA. 2-2, and I think this is going to be either a 6 or 7 game series. But I'll go with the Nuggets on this one.
All right. My second pick is going to be Nuggets versus the Lakers, Game 1, -5 in Denver. And I'm going with the Nuggets -5 in Denver. In the playoffs, Denver is 6-0 at home, and Lakers are 2-4 on the road. Although I am taking the Lakers in the series, it may take them a game to get acclimated to the altitude in Denver, so that's why I'm going with the Nuggets in this one. I look for Denver to make a strong showing and win Game 1. Any comments on this pick?
Yeah, I'm with you on this one. I think the Nuggets can take the -5, take Game 1. Like I mentioned earlier, the Nuggets swept the home series against the Lakers during the regular season, and they won by an average of, I remember my calculations, of about 13. So, this is playoff time. You mentioned the altitude. I know these players have played in, it's not going to be their first time going to Denver playing, but that always seems to play in a player's psyche, at least for the first couple of quarters until they get their legs and their wind going. So overall, I'm with you on this one. I think the Nuggets can take Game 1. I'll take the -5 Nuggets.
All right. Now, do you have a third, fourth, and fifth pick for us, El Gato?
Yeah, I have 3 picks here. I'm going to go with my first selection. I'm going to go with the Celtics winning the series. They're at -565. Not a whole lot of value on that if you're going to do a friendly wager, but since we're just picking for the championship series on the Eastern side, I'm going to go with the Celtics. It's going to be a tough Eastern Conference matchup with the Heat. The Heat, I don't know, they're maybe the surprise team in the playoffs. They come with a lot of energy. They take on the personality of their number one player, Butler, and he's tough as nails. I mean, he's almost willing to making the team win. He's taking the team on his back and willing them to win. So it's going to be a good matchup. I think the Celtics, with the home court advantage and with Tatum really starting to play really, really well, I think they can take the series maybe in 6 games, but it's going to be a tough series. It's going to go back and forth.
Yeah, this is a rematch of last year's conference finals. I think the Celtics are a balanced team. They definitely need to focus on Jimmy Butler. The Heat, they came in as a number 8 seed, and they're trying to get to the championship round. If they do, this would be the second time this happens, but it won't happen this year. Celtics have home court advantage as well as the better players in Smart, Tatum, Brown, and a decent bench. This will be a close series, but Celtics move on.
Yeah, I agree. I'm going to agree with that. I'm going to agree with your analysis on that one. You know what I forgot to mention? I was just looking at some of my notes here. Maybe you agree with me on this or not, but you think with like you mentioned, you rattled off with several Celtics players that can perform and are deeper than the Heat. But do you think the best matchup on this one, as far as each player neutralizing the other, you think Horford, who wasn't very good offensively, maybe the last 3 games against the 76ers, if he can neutralize or control Adebayo off the boards and maybe hold him down to single digits from his average of low double digits, that's going to put a lot of pressure on Butler to score, maybe have Lowry come off the bench and try to perform as well. What do you think of that?
Yeah, I agree. And, Horford has been struggling, but he had a better showing this last game he played. So hopefully he's coming back into his rhythm and can produce a little bit better for the Celtics. But, yeah, I agree with you. They need to control Butler, but they also need to control Adebayo. They do have Lowry and they do have Love. Love hasn't been as good as I thought he would be, but they still have a weapon in Lowry. But I just think that the Celtics have more players that can control Butler, focus on Adebayo, and limit their scoring ability.
Yeah, I agree. That's a good point. Good point.
All right. What about a fourth pick?
Fourth pick on this one, I'm going to go with it's the Lakers-Nuggets tomorrow night's game. And I'm going to go with the over on the over is 222.5. And both teams score right at about the 228 mark. At least the Nuggets do the whole season, maybe even into the playoffs as well. Lakers average about 232. Both them and their opponent throughout the season. So trying to take the average of those, we're looking at about 230 during the regular season. Both teams matched up. They were scoring at the 233.5 level. I know this is the playoffs. Maybe some players get tight, but with the over being what I think is a low 220s at 222.5, I think this will be a good cover going with the over on this one. At least I hope it is.
Yeah, I'm going with you as well. The Nuggets and the over. Two teams that are capable of putting points on the board, and both will most likely play with a fast pace, which should lead to easy buckets. So I'm going with you on this.
I'll take it.
All right. What about a fifth pick?
The fifth and final pick of this podcast, I'm going to go. It's going to be the matchup of Celtics and the Heat. The spread on this one is 7.5 plus 7.5 for the Heat. I'm just going to go with the Heat on this one, considering the Celtics got off of a grueling matchup with the 76ers. They had a tough series. They're sky high. Maybe they're going to be a little just thankful they got out of that series with the 76ers. And, it's a home game, but, the Heat, I'm expecting them to come in and try to make a statement. They might lose, the Heat, I'm saying. But I think at plus 7.5, I'm thinking they should be able to cover this one. They're going to play it close, but I think maybe Boston still wins it, but not covering the spread. At least that's my thought on this one. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm going with you as well with the Heat. The last two matchups, the Heat have won. And like you said, the Celtics will come out, I think, a little flat-footed after their 7-game series against Philly. That was a tough series, so I just think they might struggle a little bit. But again, I don't know if the Heat will win, but I think that they can cover. They could possibly win it. So.
Yeah, I saw a couple of analysts, on the various stations, cable stations. Several of them predicting the Heat to, surprise the Celtics in Game 1. So, if they do surprise them and win, obviously they're going to, cover that to 7.5. So, I'm looking forward to that series as well. I'm thinking that the Eastern Conference is going to be a more physical. I guess traditionally the Eastern Conference is that, or they're known for that. The Western Conference is known for, scoring and, going up and down the court. But, this Heat Celtics series may remind me of how the playoffs were maybe in the early to late 90s. I know that's a long time ago, but I do remember, those tough Eastern Conference final series. And this is I'm thinking will be just like that.
All right. Do you have any final comments for us, El Gato?
No, just that there's going to be some good basketball here the next couple of weeks with these conference finals. And, of course, the winners are going to be – every possession is going to matter. Every free throw, every shot, every foul, it's going to be for getting to the finals. And that's what all these guys are playing for. So it's going to be an intense series both on the Western and Eastern side. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, me too. I cannot wait to see these games play out here. All right. Well, I really don't have any final comments, but the only thing is I am rooting for the Dallas Stars tonight. The game's already started, or else I would have given you my opinion on that hockey game, but go Dallas Stars.
All right. I'm not into hockey as much, but if they're a Texas team in the late in the playoffs, I guess I'll root for them. Yeah,
I'm hoping that it's the Golden Knights against the Dallas Stars. Let's hope so.
All right.
All right. Thank you for listening to 5 Picks and a Chick. Be sure to tell your friends about us. Also hit the subscribe button and put your notifications on so that way you can get notified when we have our next podcast, since we're doing them on odd days. So make sure to do that. Hit the like button. You can also find us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, and also ask Alexa to play 5 Picks and a Chick. The next podcast, we hope to have our guest pickers on so we can discuss the championship series.
All right.
All right. As always, thank you to El Gato for being part of 5 Picks and a Chick. 1, 2, 3, break.